everyone. I'm Jen Struzero from the Ventress Library. You're watching Read, Rant, Repeat, our book club here at the Cable Access Channel. Today we have some guests from the middle school and the high school. I have Jack, Katie, and Hannah with me. Thanks, guys, for coming. So today we're talking about Insurgent, the popular sequel that just became a movie to Divergent by Veronica Roth. Did everyone get a chance to check it out? Jack did?
I saw the movie.
I didn't.
Okay, so Jack saw the movie.
Yet.
I have not seen it either. I've just read the audio and the book, which was awesome. Any thoughts on the differences? We kind of know some of the differences because we've read about it, but differences overall, anyone have any points?
In the trailer, Triss uses a gun, which in the book she didn't because she was a little too scarred to be able to use one. And there's a mysterious box.
Yeah, there's like this box with all the faction symbols on it, and I have no idea what that's about, but that wasn't originally in the book. They added that in the movie.
That is like a hexagon or...
Yeah.
It's like a hexagonal prism.
I don't even know.
Well, it's funny you're talking about the gun with Triss. So she's a little scarred in this one. She's definitely feeling the guilt.
Yeah.
And feeling a lot of suffering and angst. So yeah, that's definitely a change from the first one that I picked up on. So yeah, there's some changes in the movie. Do you think Triss was too much on that point lost in her grieving for her parents and will to be able to see the big picture of what was going on, and was her perspective correct?
Yes, I mean, I feel like she wasn't really ready to be able to protect herself and other people at that point because she was still like scarred and worried about everything that happened to her parents and to Will.
Yeah, she's definitely like, scarred. It's very hard to recover from such a traumatic experience. I mean, seeing what happened to her parents and Will, and who knows, she or her friends could be next. So she doesn't really know, and she's scarred from that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, as Dave said, but
Yeah.
I mean, she had like Tobias to help her get through it, so it might take her some getting used to for her to get back to using that gun and, protecting herself.
Yeah, in the first one she was really getting comfortable, but there's also some other themes in this one, dealing with the guilt and realizing that not all factions are perfect, right? Everyone has their flaws in each faction. So it's I thought that was cool. Who was the most despised character in the book?
Caleb Pryor.
Caleb. So why do you say Caleb, Hannah?
He betrayed his family as well as his sister and his parents, and he betrayed some of the people who got to know him and thought they were friends.
Good.
I say Janine is the most hated because she's killing so many people, all these divergents, and she's doing all these tests and simulations on them for no reason, just for knowledge. But
Yeah, she's pretty nasty.
cruel.
Chat?
I'd have to say Marcus because the way he treats Tobias, he just does,
Yeah. Unacceptable. He's abusive to him. Good answers, guys. Do you think the faction system is inherently flawed?
Yes.
How so?
Well, individually, every faction has its own strengths and weaknesses, but it can really, depending on the person, it can just be not really suitable for them and how they live their life. But maybe as a whole and as a community, they can work together if you brought them all together.
Good answer.
And you have to be able to fit into a specific category, even though you might be different from that,
Mm-hmm.
and it might not just be totally you.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. You have to live up to these expectations, and if you don't meet them, then you're factionless, and that could be really hard for some people.
Yeah. You're just kind of left out in the cold. Yeah, it's hard to see. I'm sure lots of people would end up being factionless, if they couldn't choose. It's a hard choice to think of which one you would pick. Will things be better or worse now that it has been abolished in this sequel?
Good and bad. I feel like at the beginning they're not really going to know how to run a factionless society. But then once they figure it out, I think it'll all come together.
Yeah, it'll definitely be hard because they have no government. I mean, if people do really bad things, there's no one there to say no, and you can't do
No
this.
penalties.
Yeah, no justice.
You need to have rules.
Yeah, if there's like no one to say no, then what's to stop one group from getting up on the other ones?
Right. All good points. How would you improve the city? Any ideas?
I would build a better train system.
Oh, the train.
Because I could not run and jump
And
onto
climb.
a moving train that fast. Yeah, and you have to climb up poles to get
That's
there.
Good point.
I definitely could not do that.
The Dauntless are
very
quite
hard.
the acrobats, aren't they?
Yeah,
Ugh.
but only Dauntless are. I mean,
Yeah.
not a lot of people are.
Right. So besides infrastructure, anything else?
Probably, I mean, you might want to clean up some of the city, and like there's like an area between where the abnegation are and where the rest of the city are, where it's just the factionalists living and it's all run down. know.
Yeah. Make it like a park or something more cheery.
Or you should build homes for that faction.
Or homes, that's even, yeah.
And if you're going to like keep the factions, make them more equal, because it's always seemed like Erudite's on top. Well, maybe Abnegation's on the bottom, or maybe Amity is.
Great. So no one's really, it's not like a pyramid or a hierarchy. Everyone's kind of equal. That's great. You can think of sort of stuff that goes on in our society where that might happen too, like social stuff. So some people are like poverty and really rich is an example, right? So next is we have a clip that's really funny. We took some photos of some of your teachers, and we, with their permission, and we did some hair makeovers to reflect Triss's hair change in Insurgent. So let's see what we have. There she is, looking glamorous. There's Triss before, and there's Triss after, a little darker. Mrs. Kenny, who looks great, by the way. I love that hairdo.
Mr. Baldwin.
There's some tattoos. That's fun.
Harry Potter life.
There's our other host, Teresa from the library at middle school, and there she is with her makeover, her Insurgent makeover.
He kind of already
Mr.
looks
Boudreaux.
dauntless.
Which one?
Mr. Boudreaux.
Oh yeah, and there he
Science
looks
teacher.
great. He's definitely dauntless.
He looks very
Wouldn't
cool.
want to get in a fight with him. Okay.
So he's like 5 feet tall. Like, he's so
really?
much taller than you.
That's funny. So what faction would you guys join? Or would you combine factions?
I would do Amity.
Amity?
Because it's such a stress-free life. I mean, you're out in the fields where no one's bothering you at all. I mean, no one's fighting or getting hurt.
I would probably originally choose Amity because I'm just so weak. I would like to think I'm dauntless, but I'm definitely not. And anyway, I'd probably end up factionless.
Yeah.
I had a similar thought.
The same
for me.
outcome just for everyone.
Jack?
I was gonna pick Dauntless, but then I kind of started to sway away. Then a friend of mine named Robson brought up some good points around how Dauntless are just purely awesome, you know?
Yeah, they are. They're very self-sufficient, or like they can take care of themselves, right? They're a little extreme. So, do you think Insurgent tells a complete story? And would you understand what is going on in Insurgent without having read Divergent?
No, I wouldn't know any of the relationships, what happened to their parents, or what made all of this kind of havoc come up.
So, Jack, do you think in the movie that you don't have to have read, did you read the first one?
I did. I read the books and I've seen both movies.
Okay, do you think the movie you could just see like Insurgent and feel like you were caught up, or it'd be a little confusing?
Well, I mean, if you read the book and you just read that one, you'd be confused. But I think the movie, you could probably just watch the movie and you wouldn't have to watch Divergent, like in my opinion, because they just did it differently than the book.
Okay.
I
Katie?
think I would if I didn't read Divergent and I read or saw Insurgent, I definitely would have a lot of questions. I would be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'd have no idea.
I agree. There's a lot of characters to remember too, and
Yeah.
their factions and their sort of like betrayals and things like that. Do you think the whole book is just set up for Allegiant, like a setup for it? For
Oh,
the
yeah.
third
Yeah.
Allegiant, which is right here. Yeah. What do you think of the next Allegiant movie? Will it translate well to the big screen?
I think it'll be a big hit, but they're gonna have to change. They're gonna have to change a lot from the original book, since Insurgent is so different from the book. So they're gonna have to make it so the two movies go together.
I think they'll be able to elaborate more since there is going to be 2 parts to it. So they'll be able to describe and elaborate more.
Cool. No spoilers, but how many people have read the third one?
I have.
All of you. I have not read the third one yet. Looking forward to it. So, any ideas what might happen, but no spoilers?
A lot of stuff.
Okay.
You can't really say
Fighting.
anything
All right.
without spoiling it all,
Okay.
Fighting.
especially the ending.
I
Yeah.
look forward to reading that one. All right. Well, that's it for today's show. Join us next month. And please feel free to send in any program ideas you have for books you might want to talk about that are made into movies. You can find us on Read, Rant, Repeat on Instagram. I'm Jen Struzero. Thanks for reading and ranting. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.